It's been 14 years since the deadliest act of terrorism in Canadian history, the bombing of Air India Flight 182. The tragedy claimed 329 lives, most of them Canadian, and left behind a legacy of grief, unanswered questions, and a decades-long pursuit of justice. Memorials were held to honor the victims and stand in solidarity with their families. Reporter Tarun Paul Singh attended the commemorations and brings us the emotional story of remembrance, resilience, and a community that refused to forget.
So I was 10 and I lost my mom, my brother, and sister in the Air India bombing, and it's affected me and my family a great deal. Like, I've lost my childhood, I've lost my adulthood, because it has impacted us a lot. And it's just, I feel like you can never get them back and you can never move forward. It's like you're stuck in this part of your life that will never move forward. And now that it happened again recently with the other Air India, it brings back so many memories. And it just makes us think about our childhood again and growing up with them, without them. It's just very hard to deal with. And seeing everybody here today, it means the world to us. Like, the support we've gotten in the last week or two since the last incident, it's phenomenal. Like, the support here today, seeing everybody here is great.
The memory and the grief is still very raw and alive in our heart and in our mind. There's not a day that we don't think about him. My mom is still with us. She grieves every day. She cries in her room at night because she doesn't want us to see how she's affected by this tragedy.
It was my mother. My mother was just 60-year-old and she just got retired from her work. She was a doctor from India. She got retired in 55. Now she wants to have a nice life. She just lived 5 years.
This is the family of Mr. Shyam Sharma and wife and the children. They were the closest family friends when we came to Canada. Actually, they picked us up from the
airport. About one crew member, I mean, I know their personal stories. There is a person called Rita in there. She had fallen pregnant and she wanted to keep it a secret because after this flight she was to go back to Mumbai. Mumbai was the base, and next flight she was going to meet her husband in New York, and then she wanted to pass on the good news to him that, look, we are going to have our first child. She couldn't do that. There is another batchmate of mine. We started in Air India together, Sharon. All their drive, they were innocent people, passengers, kids, baggage handlers, crew members. Not their fault. They were doing their duty. Passengers were going home.
Time flies, sun rise and shadows fall. Love reign forever over all. These words etched into sundial at Toronto Humber Bay Park East overlook the gentle wave of Lake Ontario as a reminder of a grief that endures. 40 years have passed, yet for the families of Air India Flight 182, love and pain reign forever over all. Under a grey sky, dozens gathered at Air India Flight 182 Memorial in Humber Bay Park East for solemn 40th anniversary service. Many carried flowers, others held small Canadian and Indian flags together in their hands. They placed bouquets of lilies and roses beneath the black granite wall engraved with the names of all who perished. Some gently traced the etched name of their loved ones with trembling fingers. The crowd stood somberly, a mix of aging parents, siblings, children, and neighbors, united in remembrance. There were tearful embraces, husband prayers, and candles flickering against the breeze as the mood altered between the quiet sorrow and steadfast resolve.
Well, it's been a very difficult 40 years because, there was a lot of mistakes that were made pre-bombing. our security intelligence agencies and law enforcement agencies should have prevented this from happening. The day of the bombing, there was many mistakes between the bags being checked in, the X-ray machines not working, the bomb sniffing machines not working, and the dog was not actually there. And then there's lots of mistakes in the actual investigation because I don't think Canada really took it seriously from an investigative point of view, and actually nobody other than the Irish took it seriously. So there was tons of mistakes, and then when we did finally have a trial, a lot of evidence was thrown out and was deemed non-admissible by the judge.
So my older brother was on the flight, traveling to India for summer vacation, and he was only 17 years old. His life was cut short, very short.
The translation of this verse is Asatoma Sadgamaya, lead us from the unreal to the real. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, lead us from the delusion to the knowledge, or darkness to the light. Mrityurma Amritangamaya, lead us from the death to immortality.
Yes, they were our backyard neighbors. We live on a street where backyards back onto each other, and we got to know them fairly well. It was the Jalan family. So it was a mom, a dad, who were in their late 20s, early 30s, and two children. Anita was 3 years old, I believe, and a brand new baby boy, 2 months old, were all perished on the plane. It was very, very sad and very emotional, and the next few days were very sad too, because the family would gather at their home and we could see them through the grieving process also.
There are also lingering unanswered questions. Families say they are still searching for justice and accountability in a tragedy that should never have occurred. Despite a decade-long investigation and trial, only one person was ever convicted in connection with the bombing. As the ceremony concluded, the mourners at the Humber Bay Park placed final garlands and candles by the memorial sundial. A group of children the same age as some of the young victims stepped forward to sing a soft hymn of peace. Some in the crowd closed their eyes, letting tears fall freely. Others put their arms around one another. Sorrow hung heavily in the air, but so did resilience.
So this is my mom's brother who died, and death in a family is death for everyone in the family, whether we were there for it or not. It's a painful thing to see, and as a younger generation, it's the memorial service especially, and just for my generation to know about the Flight 182 is really important because nobody knows about it. And it should be in our education system, and it should be really well known to all the Indians out here in Canada especially.
Memorial garden in County Cork with a beautiful sundial and the words "Time flies, suns rise and shadows fall, let it pass by, love reigns forever over all."
40 years later, we have cried enough. Our tears are dried most of the time, and our biggest wish, prayer or hope is that nobody else suffers what we have suffered.
40 years later, the families of Flight 182 are still here, still fighting to keep memories alive and lessons learned, and they vow to continue until justice is done and the world never forgets. From Canada, this is Tarun Paul Singh.